They say if you stare into the mirror in room 103 at exactly 3 a.m., you won't see your reflection. You'll see something else staring back. Jake was a travel vlogger who didn't believe in ghost stories. When he checked in to the old Maplewood Motel, the owner warned him, "Don't touch the mirror in room 103. Guests never wake up the same." Jake laughed. That night, he set up his camera, determined to record proof that ghosts don't exist. The room was silent except for the old clock ticking closer to 3 a.m. As the minute hand reached 12, Jake faced the mirror. His reflection smiled, but he didn't. He blinked. The reflection stayed, grinning wider. The lights flickered. The air turned cold. Then his reflection moved on its own. It lifted its hand slowly and pressed it against the glass. Jake hesitated, then mirrored the gesture. Their fingertips met, and the glass rippled like water. The camera fell. When the video later surfaced online, it showed Jake being pulled into the mirror. The last frame, his face screaming silently from the other side. Days later, the motel closed, but guests say, at night, if you walk past room 103, you can still see a man's hand pressed against the mirror, begging to get out. If you ever find yourself in a motel room with an old mirror, check the number on the door. And if it says 103, don't look inside. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and comment, "I saw the reflection," because maybe the mirror saw you too.
They say the ocean never gives back what it takes, but what if it takes someone in front of everyone? March 24th, 1998. Amy Bradley, 23 years old. A Caribbean cruise. A vacation that was supposed to be paradise. And then she vanished, without a sound, without a trace. At 5:15 a.m., her father saw her sitting on the cabin balcony. She smiled. She said she'd come down for breakfast. He went back to sleep. When he woke up, she was gone. The balcony empty. Her shoes, her ID, her cigarettes, still there. The ship's doors were locked. No sign of struggle. No witnesses. Just the endless sea. Crew members claimed they saw her hours later on deck 10 near the bar. Others swore they saw her with a man in Aruba. Even years later, tourists said they spotted her, alive, older, different, but her eyes the same. One photo surfaced online. A woman sitting on a bed, the same tattoos, the same smile. The same Amy, maybe. The FBI still lists her as missing. No body, no proof, just rumors of human trafficking, a black market trade, and an ocean that keeps its secrets. But here's the part that still haunts me. Her family kept getting emails, untraceable, each one saying the same thing in plain text. Don't stop looking for me. To this day, no one knows what happened to Amy Bradley. Did she fall? Was she taken? Or did the ocean itself decide to keep her? Some say on certain nights you can still hear her calling from deck 10, asking for help, but the sea never answers. If you want me to uncover the FBI case file and read the real emails they received, subscribe now and comment Amy so I know you're ready for part 2. Don't go on a cruise alone, and don't answer the ocean when it calls.
It started with a whistle, a soft, cold whistle. Ethan froze in the forest. The air was still. The night was heavy. Fog covered everything. The sound came from the distance, low, slow, and getting closer. Ethan turned slowly, no one behind. The forest whispered, the branches moaned. His flashlight flickered, the beam trembled. "Hello," he whispered. No answer, just the whistle, slow and cold. The wind stopped. The forest listened. He walked forward, step by step. The fog grew thicker. He heard breathing close behind him. He turned again. The path was empty, but the sound stayed. A shadow appeared between the trees, tall and thin. No face, only silence. Its head tilted like it could hear him. Then it smiled, without a mouth. Ethan stepped back. His heart pounded. "Go away," he said. The shadow whistled the same tune, his own whistle echoing back like a mirror in the dark. He ran fast. Branches cracked loudly. The fog chased him. The whistle followed, closer, faster. His breath got loud. The light shook. His hands trembled. He fell down, face in the dirt. The whistle stopped. Silence returned. He slowly looked up. The figure was there, right in front. No face, no eyes. Its head leaned closer, only inches away. The whistle started again. Inside his ear, sharp, cold, clear. He screamed quietly, but no sound came. Only the whistle stayed. The next morning, the forest was calm. Birds were singing. The fog was gone. But Ethan was not. His flashlight lay on the ground, near broken branches. No footprints remained. No blood, no body, just the whistle, soft and distant, flowing through the trees. The forest remembered and kept his voice. If you ever walk alone in the forest and hear a whistle, do not answer. Do not follow. Run while you still can, before the forest does. If this story chills you, subscribe now. Comment below. Would you walk alone in the woods at night? People fear ghosts, demons, shadows, but very few understand the real nightmare. The idea that someone, a real human being, might be living inches from you without you ever knowing. This story is one of the most disturbing true horror events ever documented in the United States. In 1994, a 31-year-old man named Brian Andrews moved into a quiet one-bedroom apartment in Tacoma, Washington. He wasn't lonely, just private. He liked the silence. He liked knowing he controlled his own space. Every day felt the same. Wake up, work long hours at the warehouse, grab takeout on the way home, eat, watch TV, sleep. Nothing strange, nothing unusual, until the nights stopped being quiet. It started slowly. A cabinet slightly open when Brian was sure he had closed it. A spoon on the counter he didn't remember using. The TV volume changing on its own. Food missing. Brian blamed it on stress. But then, one night around 3:21 a.m., he woke to a sound he could not explain. Not pipes, not the fridge, not the wind. Footsteps, soft, slow, bare feet walking across the living room floor. Brian sat up in bed, heart pounding. The hallway was dark, silent. He checked the apartment, every room, every corner. Nothing. But the next morning, one more thing was missing. Half the leftovers he had in the fridge. Over the next week, things escalated. Toiletries moved, light switches flipped, a chair slightly angled toward his bedroom door. One night, he clearly heard breathing behind his closed bathroom door. But when he opened it, the room was empty. Brian didn't believe in the supernatural, but even he began to think something was wrong, very wrong. So he bought a cheap security camera, hid it behind a stack of cereal boxes, and aimed it directly at the kitchen, just to be sure, just to prove to himself that nothing was happening. He let the camera record while he slept. The next day, he pressed play. At 1:44 a.m., a cabinet door above the fridge began to open from the inside. A woman, thin, pale, dirty hair hanging to her shoulders, crawled out in slow, silent motions, as if she had been living in a narrow space for months. She moved with unnatural patience. Her feet made no sound. She opened the fridge, picked at Brian's leftovers, drank directly from the milk bottle, then wandered to the living room. She paused and turned her head toward Brian's bedroom. She walked closer, stopped at his door, and just stood there, watching him for minutes, not blinking, not moving. Then she walked back, crawled into the cabinet, pulled the door shut from the inside, and disappeared. Brian stared at the screen, frozen in terror. This wasn't a ghost. This wasn't a prank. Someone, a real person, was living inside his apartment. Police arrived within the hour. When they opened the cabinet, they found more than a hiding spot. Behind it was a dark opening, a forgotten crawl space that ran through the walls and connected to a tiny storage area above the apartment. Inside that space, a thin mattress, piles of food scraps, water bottles, clothes, a small bag, and a bucket for a toilet. She had been there for at least 2 months, watching Brian, moving only when he slept, living above him, beside him, behind him. They later discovered she had entered the apartment through a window months before and simply never left. The woman was mentally unstable and believed the apartment was hers. But the most chilling detail came from the officers. This wasn't rare. They had found similar cases in other apartments across the city. People secretly living in attics, behind walls, inside crawl spaces, slipping out only when the owners slept. Brian moved out the next day and never returned. But even years later, he said that the worst part wasn't the footage, or the food disappearing, or the thought of someone watching him sleep. It was knowing that for 2 whole months, he had never been alone. Not even once. Some places don't need ghosts to be terrifying. Sometimes the real horror is the person hiding just a few inches away behind the wall. If you want more real horror stories like this, subscribe to ShadowPulse. Some shadows don't follow you, they live with you.
They say the most terrifying ghost is the one that takes your voice first and then your life. This case is real, and it still haunts the family today. In 2014, in a quiet town in Pennsylvania, a woman named Claire reported hearing someone calling her from inside her home. But it wasn't just any voice. It was her voice. Her tone, her pitch, her breathing. The first time, she thought she imagined it. Sleep deprivation, stress, anything but the truth. She heard herself laugh from the living room. But Claire was upstairs. When she checked the hallway camera, she saw a blurry figure standing near the stairs. Same height, same hair, same way she tilted her head when confused. Only the eyes were wrong. Too dark, too still. It whispered, "Claire, come here." But she didn't move. Didn't breathe. She froze. Later that night, her phone buzzed with a voice message.
It was her own voice saying, "I'm already inside." When police investigated, they found deep fingernail scratches on the inside of the basement door, as if someone tried to get out, not in. Claire moved away. The house remains empty today. Neighbors still report hearing a woman's voice inside, answering their calls. And every few months, someone swears they see her staring from the upstairs window. Except Claire is still alive, miles away. So who or what is in that house? If you ever hear your own voice calling you, don't answer, because some echoes are hunting for a body. Tell me in the comments, would you go investigate if you heard your own voice? Subscribe if you're brave enough.